It's the first day of spring in the Mid-Atlantic. I'm technically on vacation right now in the middle of the Shenandoah Valley. I decided to take my last day of vacation to try out a few breweries on the Brew Ridge Trail. You heard me right, that's Brew Ridge Trail. So sit back and enjoy a little tour of Central Virginia. My first stop on the Brew Ridge Trail was Starr Brewery in Crozet, Virginia. By the time I arrived, this place was already doing a brisk business on a Sunday afternoon. The bartenders never stopped moving the entire time I was there. Lucky for me, I managed to grab a tour guide all to my lonesome. Alright, so what's your name and your position?
My name's Henry. I'm a tour guide and bartender here.
Great, and how long have you been here?
Started in summer 2012, so almost 4 years now.
And Starr Brewery, that started as a brew pub and then went in production.
Correct. So we originally were a little brew pub in downtown Charlottesville, had a music hall upstairs, but kind of outgrew that space and moved out here to Crozet in 2005.
What would you say is the thing that sets Starr off from the rest of the Brew Ridge Trail breweries?
I mean, part of our brand has always been big kind of live music. So originally had a music hall, we had some great live acts come through, and out here at the tap room now, we have a stage, have bands all the time. Always been really involved in music festivals, Bonnaroo, all good back when it was around, Floyd Fest, Lock-In. So that's kind of always been a big part of our brand.
What are the best sellers?
Grateful Northern Lights right now do really well for us. Our IPA, Northern Lights, and Grateful our Pale Ale. Our seasonals do really well. Whatever we have in season right now, it's a Reviver, our red IPA, which is one of my favorites, does very well for us.
And what's the capacity of Starr currently?
I think we're around 28,000 barrels. We're where we want to be, but we have a lot of room to grow with the facility we have right now.
All right, so let's try these beers out. The first thing I noticed was they have a Vienna lager. We tried one last weekend. I have to tell you something. This is a home run. Absolutely fantastic lager. I've struggled in the last few weeks finding a lager that was crisp and truly lager-like in some of the local brew pubs. Starr has it, and they have it right. Highly recommend the Jomo. Speaking of which, this is the double IPA, the double platinum. If I had had this beer in the double IPA throwdown a couple weeks ago, it would have walked. It's better than Dogfish Heads. You got a lot of that same crisp complexity in the malt, and the hops do not overwhelm. Clean hops are the key to a good double IPA, and they got it here. Here's the Reviver. This is a red IPA. I did a review recently of the red IPA collaboration with Heavy Seas, and if you recall, that one was a little too muddy to really sell the red IPA. And here we're getting a lot more of the alpha acids. It's a lot more of a rosiny flavor than the double platinum. Just like the collaboration with Heavy Seas, this one really starts to build on the palate. It's a favorite from what I hear on the bar, but for my money, I'd rather go with the double platinum. Now here's an interesting beer for you. This is the Blackthorn. This is a collaboration stout between Starr and O'Hara's in Dublin. They apparently did a collaboration last year for American Independence Day where they did a red ale for the Dubliners. So the Dubliners came down and worked with a stout. Let's try this one out. Close to a dry stout, but it's more like the foreign export style of stout. A little more roast, a little more alcohol, a lot more substance, especially compared to Guinness, which we had a little too much of 2 days ago. You can only get this here in the brewery, so I recommend coming down and getting some. And I had to try this one. This is a Belgian quad. This is a ridiculous beer style. It really is cowboy brewing with the European flavor. This is an enormous, over 12% beer. Obviously it's going to be sweet. All quads tend to be sweet, but what you look for in a good quad are the Belgian characters not being drowned out by alcohol. And I'm happy to say, all the Belgian character, alcohol's there, but it doesn't burn. There's no acetone. It's a very well-made quad. Overall, Starr blows my doors off. I highly recommend stopping by this brewery. It's an absolute gem. I had a genuine ball here at Starr, but it's time to move up the road. Okay, the second stop on the Brew Ridge Trail is Devil's Backbone Brewery. This is officially the biggest brewery I've done on this video blog. You can get Devil's Backbone beer basically anywhere. I will tell you this though, on the trip from here to Starr Hill, I passed 2 more breweries that were not on my list. 2 distilleries and 2 cideries. I'm telling you what guys, I'm putting serious thought into moving to Virginia. Devil's Backbone Base Camp has plenty of room to enjoy beer and the surroundings. You never know who you're going to run into on a Sunday afternoon. Lucky for me, I ran into quite the VIP.
Jason Oliver, founder and brewmaster for Devil's Backbone.
And Devil's Backbone has done a fantastic job of dominating the Virginia beer market. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. I wouldn't say dominate, no, I'd say, we've been very successful and so we're good neighbors.
Good neighbors is what I've run into in the Brew Ridge Trail so far. You have really good relationships with the locals.
No, I mean, we're all friends, we all work together. In fact, you came out the end of our Brew Ridge Trail week, which we all had events at our locations and trying to raise awareness of the breweries out here. So we all work together because this is kind of like a destination spot. It's, we're in the country. It's kind of a unique area. It used to be you go to the country to maybe do wine tours, but now you can go to the country and do beer tours. I think that's pretty awesome.
I detect a German style preference in Devil's Backbone thus far. Is that intentional or is that just your preference?
Half my career has been kind of focused on Germanic inspired beers, and so I have a great love for them. And we do a lot, probably more than most breweries do. Equipment is set up to do them. We have a lot of tanks, a lot of capacity, so we can lager beers. So they're kind of, our systems are designed to do so. Any other different style too. I mean, I started my career in Baltimore doing English ales on an English system with open fermentation, as English as you could get. And so here, we can continue with the German line, but then bring in all kinds of other different beers as well. And we're growing into a pretty sizable company now, and we have people, our footprint is Maryland, obviously Virginia, Maryland, DC, North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, and West Virginia. So we have teams out everywhere. And, when you hear people kind of coming back to your team members or coming back to you and saying, I love the Vienna Lager, I love this beer and that beer, it's always great to hear. So here I am at Devil's Backbone. I got myself a flight of beers to try out. Vienna Lager, sounds familiar. We just had this at Starr Hill. Let's compare this to Starr Hills to see if there's a grudge match happening in the Brew Ridge. Also an exceptional lager. What this does that Starr Hill doesn't do is to accentuate the Pils malt. However, Starr Hills creates perhaps a crisper, cleaner lager note. They're both fantastic beers. I would say Starr Hill appeals more to an American palate. This is a little more genuine to the German style itself. Great, crisp, cookie cracker Pils character to that one. And here I tried their Schwartz beer. Devil's Backbone was one of the first mid-Atlantic breweries that actually brewed a Schwartz beer. I thought I'd try this out too. Roasty, lightly sweet, also very clean for a lager. An outstanding Schwartz beer, to be honest. And here we have 2 holdovers from St. Patrick's Day, an Irish Red and a dry stout. This Irish Red is going to be very middle of the road, if you ask me. It's a basic Irish Red. It's nothing wrong with it. It's very clean. Again, more lager-like than ale-like we ran into last week. But still, nothing stands up and really calls your attention. The dry stout, same story. It's a basic dry stout, a very loyal interpretation of the style. However, it's a dry stout. Not a really terribly interesting style to reproduce, but definitely solid. Smooth, foamy head, light roastiness. It works very well in quantities. That's a good beer to drink and have fun with your buddies. I thought I would try their Doppelbock, as I'm detecting a German-style motif here. Doppelbocks are another lager, a very strong lager in the Bock family. Malt forward, with that same accentuation on the Pils malt, which they apparently do very well at Devil's Backbone. Very clean, not too sweet, and I've had some pretty sweet Doppelbocks. Let me introduce you to one of their very special beers, the Skull Crushing 8.
This is a Schwarz Doppelweizen, if you believe that. A wheat beer, a Schwarz beer, a Doppelbock all rolled into one. High alcohol, wheat bill, midnight wheat. It's got a funky entire vibe going on, which I love in craft beer. You get to do new things. So let's try this out. Well, that's a lot of fun. You get some banana, a little bit of clove, like a Hefeweizen, but you're getting that same Doppelbock character in the malt. You really ought to try this out if you get a chance. So what's the next step? What's the future for Devil's Backbone?
Future of Devil's Backbone. Continue to, well, this year is to really consolidate our footprint and just go deeper. Next year we'll expand into a few more markets. Really, this is going to be the first full year of our day pack series. And so we have several different series of beers. We have the base camp favorites, and that's Vienna Lager, Gold Leaf Lager, Schwarz beer. Those are out in package, and those are kind of just really traditional beers that we started with here, and lagers primarily. Then we have the Day Pack series, which is kind of a fun series. Those are all in cans, and those are all very sessionable. It's great to have two facilities, too, run in tandem, because we have a lot of recipes we developed, and now we have a lot of a footprint that we can move some of these beers, and so it's a cool dynamic to have.
You've kept your base camp here as your brain trust.
Absolutely.
Do you spend more time here?
I do. I mean, this is my lab, so I mean, this is sort of, brewmaster is one thing they call me. I think, if anything, you'd call me, I don't know, just research brewer or something. I mean, because this is where I like to be. I like to, get an idea, develop it, brew it a few times, and then scale it up, send it over. I mean, this is my baby here. I love it here. This is what I came down to do, and they let me do it, so I love it. We've done probably, well over 200 different beers here. We have a lot of beers we've brewed, but then it gets difficult sometimes because we have all these old favorites we want to bring back sometimes, but then I'm never running out of ideas. So there's no shortage of ideas. So it's just hard. It's like not enough time to brew them all, really. That's the problem, quite honestly.
That's a classic homebrewer problem.
Yeah.
So there you have it. I've only visited 2 breweries on the Brew Ridge Trail, and I've been blown away by both of them. So I'm going to come back to Virginia soon. I'm going to pick up all the other guys as much as I can anyway, and see how well they're holding up this tradition of craft beer in Virginia. I'll see you next week on the Beer Atlantic. Cheers.